Student horns versus professional horns. Is there a difference? Yes, there is. Now, what are the differences between the student horn and the professional horn? Well, you have to understand what they're made for. Okay, first of all, a student horn is made to basically give you the idea of the instrument. So basically, where are the notes located? How does it feel to play the instrument? All right, how do I build muscle memory? That is what the student horn is for. And if you to relatively stay and blend with the band, that is what it's made for. Now, you have professional and intermediate horns, and those horns are made with a totally different material. All right. So no, you can't just buy replacement parts or professional parts for a student horn to sound professional. You can't do that because the metals are made differently. The springs are different. The pads are different. You know, they just make it to where it's not, they make it to where the professional horns are a lot different than the student horns. Now, the differences are, you'll realize that some horns don't project as loud. You realize that some horns are not in tune. All right. The student horns or even the cheaper horns, you can have a note that could be in the same scale. All right. One note in that scale can be flat and another note right above it can be sharp. And no matter how much you try to adjust your mouthpiece, or it's only going to overall affect the whole instrument, but not necessarily the dissonance in between the two notes. So that's what happens a lot when it comes to the cheaper horns. So you want to be aware of that. You know, like I said before, the cheaper horns are more to give you an understanding of the instrument, the muscle memory, so you can understand how to set your embouchure, how to blend a little bit. But you understand later on when you play in your intermediate and into your professional horns, that now you're playing with something that'll definitely help you make it a little bit easier to project. It brings out the clarity in your sound. You can hear and you can feel the reaction in the keys a little bit differently than you would a student or a cheaper horn. So keep this in mind as you're playing and you're practicing. A lot of people say, oh, okay, yeah, the sound and the sound. Yeah, you can, as a master musician, as a professional musician, you can manipulate the sounds, but the way the instrument is caters to your sound is another thing. So a student horn might be a little bit more it may be a little bit harder to finesse the notes and get that beautiful sound versus a more professional horn where you don't have to put as much effort into it and the sound just comes out beautiful. So understand, yeah, you can make them sound relatively the same, but as far as the effort put into it, it's a lot different. It's a lot more effort, you know, and so keep that in mind as you're getting your horns, all right? So that's a little bit of a a little bit of an explanation, I should say, of a student horn versus a professional horn. And I hope it helps you out. All right, take care.